In a brazen move that would go down in history, two men broke out of Zimbabwe's most secure prison, a place nobody had ever escaped from. And then they did it again, leaving the authorities stunned and the public fascinated. Meet Stephen Chidumo and Edgar Masendeke, two convicted armed robbers who would become notorious for their daring escapes. With 16 counts of armed robbery each, they were considered a threat to society. But little did the authorities know, these two men were about to pull off the impossible. Their first escape would be just the beginning of a thrilling saga that would captivate the nation. On a fateful day, Chidumo and Masendeke overpowered the warders at Mutimurfu Remand Prison in Masvingo, making their way to freedom. They fled to Mozambique, where they would launch cross-border armed raids for 2 years, evading capture and earning notoriety. But their luck would eventually run out, and Chidumo would be caught in Mozambique in 1997. Or so it seemed. He was sentenced to 37 years at Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison, a facility that was thought to be escape-proof. Wait, it gets worse. In August 1997, Chidumo pulled off the unthinkable. He escaped from Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison, the only successful escape in the prison's history. He was not alone. Fellow inmate Elias Chalk joined him in the daring breakout. A $60,000 reward was offered for their capture, but Chidumo and Chalk remained at large for 29 days. Their recapture in Beira, Mozambique, was just the beginning of a new chapter in their saga. But what drove these men to take such risks, and what would become of them? Stephen Chidumo, the mastermind behind the escapes, was a complex figure. According to his sister, Phyllis, he was a loving and generous person, despite his criminal record. But what drove him to a life of crime, and how did he manage to evade capture for so long? As we delve deeper into his story, we find a man who was both calculating and charismatic. His exploits would eventually inspire a song by musician Kingbit, cementing his status as a folk hero. In 2002, both Chidumo and Masendeke would meet their end at the hands of the hangman. Chidumo was approximately 30 years old when he was executed, a tragic conclusion to a life marked by both daring escapes and brutal crime. As we reflect on their story, we are left with more questions than answers. What drove these men to take such risks, and what does their story reveal about the human spirit? The legend of Chidumo and Masendeke serves as a reminder that even in the darkest of places, there is always a glimmer of hope and a desire for freedom. Today, the story of Chidumo and Masendeke is remembered as a testament to the power of the human spirit. Their daring escapes and subsequent exploits have become the stuff of legend, inspiring songs and stories that continue to captivate audiences. But as we look back on their lives, we are left with a haunting question: what if they had chosen a different path? What if they had used their cunning and charisma for good instead of evil? The story of Chidumo and Masendeke serves as a reminder that our choices have consequences, and that the path we choose can lead us down a road of destruction or redemption.